Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. I am Yasha Franklin Hodge, Chair of the Public Improvement Commission, and I call to order the hearing of June 12th, 2025. Mr. Lamming, would you please take the roll call?
Certainly. Would the representative from the Public Works Department please state their name for the record?
Yasha Franklin Hodge.
Property Management Department, please do the same. Sorry, one more time, Joe. You cut out.
Joseph Callahan.
Thank you, sir. Transportation Department.
Amy Gordon.
Inspectional Services Department. Water and Sewer Commission.
Denise Staffman.
And Commission for Persons with Disabilities.
Fabian.
Full quorum.
Excellent. Thank you all very much. So on to our first agenda item, hearing minutes 1. At the request of the Public Improvement Commission staff, the acceptance of the minutes of the PIC hearing held on May 22nd, 2025. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes of May 22nd, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? So moved. On to the utility pole section of our agenda, starting with utility pole 1 on a petition by Eversource Energy for a utility pole installation to install one new guy wire attaching to an existing private utility pole within Lexington Street, Charlestown, to be located on its westerly side at the side of 15 Monument Square, generally south of Concord Avenue. Would the proponents please introduce themselves, their affiliations, and talk us through what you are proposing to do?
Good morning, this is Emmy McSweeney from Eversource. Today Eversource is requesting to install one hip guide to existing pole 45/3, which is located at 15 Lexington Street in the corner of Concord Avenue. This is necessary to provide additional support to the pole line due to Crown Castle upgrading its existing equipment there.
Are you able to share the plans showing this work, or do you have a plan set?
Yes, one moment here. If you could share it in right here. And there, and this is the plan. And that's the pole right there on the corner, and there will be a hip guy.
Commissioners, questions? PIC staff or members of the public?
I will take this opportunity to remind the public, if you wish to ask questions or add testimony at any time, we ask that you please use the raised hand function, which can be found in the reactions tab at the bottom of your screen. PIC staff does not have any comments or questions at this time, and I don't see anything from the public either.
All right, seeing no questions or comments, do I hear a motion to approve utility pole 1?
I make a motion to approve a petition by Eversource Energy for a utility pole installation in Lexington Street as read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? So moved. On to utility pole hearing number 2 on a petition by Verizon New England Inc. for a utility pole installation to install one new private utility pole within Nazing Street, Roxbury, to be located on its southwesterly side at address numbers 36 to 38, generally between Bluehill Avenue and Maple Street. Would proponents please introduce themselves, their affiliations, and talk us through what you're proposing?
Yes, good morning. Ross Billady representing Verizon New England. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. All right, let me know when you can see that.
You got it?
Okay, very good. Verizon is looking to place one new pole number 2 on Nazing Street to alleviate a existing aerial trespass we have on the private property at 38 Nazing Street. For whatever reason, this pole number 2 was originally set many moons ago on that property behind their fence and behind the sidewalk. The property owner is looking for us to get that pole off of their property, so that's why we're trying to move it to the street. This does provide service to the area, so it is pretty critical, and really shouldn't have been on the private property from the get-go. So again, we're just trying to alleviate this aerial trespass.
Thank you very much. Question, I'm seeing some street trees that are shown, like on the street, but that don't appear on your plan set. Can you speak to how this pole location will, if and how it would impact those trees?
Sure, I don't believe it'll impact the trees. I can share some pictures from the site where you can see our proposed pole. It's kind of in between the curb line. There's a driveway apron to number 38, and we're placing it inside that apron in between, you know, there's an existing tree maybe 5, 6, 7 feet away. So that new pole shown here will move to this spot.
I think that's too close, right? Like, we typically have a standoff with our streetlights and poles from trees that's 15 feet, and also a 5-foot standoff from driveways.
Okay?
So I can jump in on this very briefly. We did send this to the Parks Department to let them take a look at this. We have not heard back from Parks at all. I might suggest we give Parks a couple weeks to consider this, but maybe if we don't hear back any objections from them, we allow this to move forward. That's just my suggestion.
Yeah, I tend to, I agree with that. I think it does seem close, and ultimately we want them to weigh in on that question, before we make a final decision. And I guess to the point that Amy made about driveways, Ross, do you know the distance between that pole location and the edge of that driveway there?
Not offhand, I can probably get that for you. It's probably at least 3 feet, but again, I don't have that on hand right now.
Okay.
I think that one, right, like, it's not super concerning where it's marked, but if in reaction to the tree, we try to push it, I think it's gonna, right, we can't move closer to the driveway. So, right, like, depending on what the outcome from Parks is, right, like, this is a small tree right now, but eventually, it's very much gonna be in the pole.
All right, so recommendation here is that we continue this to the next hearing, and in that time, I think we need to sort out the locational concerns associated with this. I would also ask that Verizon just take another look at the street and see if there's another feasible location that's maybe less congested, perhaps on the other side of that driveway apron that may or may not work for you operationally. And I know there's street lights as well to consider, but would just appreciate you all taking another look at the options here so that we're not trying to squeeze something in that ultimately ends up, removing a street tree or having a street tree that can't survive because of the location.
Sure, we will most certainly do that. Thank you.
Excellent.
Good morning. Oh, sorry, just to check in, before we continue, I just wanted to make sure that people were able to give testimony because we do have a citizen here who wanted to give testimony regarding this.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ashley. Unless there are any other comments from the commission? All right, hearing none, PIC staff, or we can start with the person in the room who would like to speak.
Good morning, thank you. My name is Minyard Culpepper. I'm the owner of that house where that pole is located inside my fence. One of the major issues now is that the pole is leaning, and every time I pull into the driveway, I'm wondering whether or not I'm going to wake up that morning and the pole has fallen on my car or into the yard. I've been talking with Verizon for a while about this. The last conversation I had with Verizon was they were looking to see if there was an easement for that pole being on the property. Because I told them there needed to be some discussion about compensation. That pole's been there for years, and Verizon has just ignored repeated attempts until the pole started curving. They came out, they put a rope. If you show the picture of the pole, there's a rope that they put that they tried to convince me that that rope would keep it from falling. But that rope is not going to keep that pole from falling. And that pole is moving. It's not stationary. The person from Verizon told me that the bottom had rotted out. So there's a pole that's in my yard, moving closer to falling. The wires, if you look at the wires are being held up by my fence. If you look straight down, there are wires right on the fence. They're in this picture. I don't think you can see it that clear, but I have a picture that I took this morning. The wires are on top of the fence. And so it's been a problem for a while. I appreciate your comments, because if they put it where it is and I open my gate to come out, it's going to be too close to that pole, and it may be blocking the gate from opening all the way. And so Verizon has just not been a good neighbor. I couldn't do anything about it because the pole was inside the yard. My grandmother and grandfather lived at that house for years. I bought the house when it had burnt up, renovated it, 2 apple trees in the backyard, 2 peach trees in the backyard, 2 fig trees in the backyard. The blueberry bush is about to, that my grandmother put in the yard years ago, is about to have blueberries. They're green right now. My point is that I've lived with this for years. Verizon hasn't been a good neighbor. They've kind of ignored me and kind of pushed me off. The last conversation was, well, we've got an easement for it. I told them when I looked at the record, there is no easement. I practiced law for a few years. I was at HUD as a regional counsel for 27 years, so I kind of know a little bit about easements. But I really appreciate that this hearing is being held. Verizon is at the table, and I appreciate the comments in terms of the trees and the closeness to the gate. But I also want to raise the emergency nature of that pole, because every time I come out, it seems like it might be a little closer to falling off. If you look at that pole this winter, it was straight up. And so when we have strong winds and a lot of rain and stuff, I think it just might be moving a little bit more. But I just want to say I appreciate the opportunity to really have some face time to discuss this issue. And I'm glad Verizon is at the table so that now we can really talk and try and resolve the issue of the pole being inside the yard for many, many years. I mean, look, if you took rent and you just charged them $25 a month for rent over 20 years, can you imagine how much that would be? It's not just Verizon. There are other, I think Xfinity uses that pole. I think other outlets use that pole in addition to Verizon, but I think Verizon is a culprit that put the pole there initially.
Thank you very much, Reverend, for the comments, and appreciate the history there and the need to get this resolved. And certainly, the PIC is very supportive of moving this onto the public right of way. But as you mentioned and as we mentioned, we just want to make sure that this is in the right place so we don't spend another few decades having other impacts from the location of this. And hopefully, by the time we have our next meeting in 2 weeks, we'll have a confirmed site for this and can move this along, and certainly happy to, if there are additional challenges once the PIC has approved this, me and Mike Passy as Chief of Streets, and happy to continue to work with Verizon to make sure that this move happens in a timely fashion once it's been approved.
Does Ross have a number where I can call Ross?
Sure, that number is 866 686 1195.
And Ross, where are you located?
Mansfield, Massachusetts.
Okay, great, thank you.
All right, hearing no other comments, do I hear a motion to continue utility pole hearing number 2?
I'll make a motion to continue utility pole hearing number 2 as read into the record by the chair till
June 25th,
June 25th,
26th, I'm sorry, June 26th.
26th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? So moved. We will see you back here in 2 weeks, and hopefully we can get this poll moving. So thank you all very much.
No, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, on to our next agenda item, public hearing continued number 1 on a joint petition by Hitchborn Beacon LLC and the WJG Realty Company LLC for the discontinuance of any and all rights to travel the public may have had within a segment of Hitchborn Street Public Way, Brighton, located east of Arthur Street. This was new business on May 8th, had its first public hearing on May 22nd. As shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division Discontinuance Plan, Hitchborn Street, Boston, Brighton, one sheet dated August 29th, 2023. Would the proponents please introduce themselves, their affiliations, and talk us through, just give us a quick update on where we are on this, this project.
Good morning, Commissioners, Chief Hodge. My name is Kevin Wright with VHB. I'm here with Peter Mullane, who's the attorney for the project. As you see before you, Hitchborn Street is adjacent to the Boston Volvo site. And I'm here on behalf of the project as petitioned by Hitchborn Beacon LLC and WJ Realty LLC to discontinue this portion of Hitchborn Street. It's adjacent to and abutting the WJG Realty parcel, which is this little strip of landscape, and then the Hitchborn Beacon LLC, which is represented by the Boston Volvo. Since the last time, we've obtained the necessary appraisal and submitted that to the PIC staff. What I have here is the plan. Let me zoom out a little bit for you so you see the full plan. For the discontinuance.
Kevin, sorry to interrupt you, but we cannot see your screen.
Sorry.
I don't think the sharing is working.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Hold on. How's that?
There we go.
All right. I'll scroll back just so I was talking and you didn't see it. This is the portion of Hitchborn Street that's being discontinued. This is the parcel that's owned by WJG Realty. Hitchborn Beacon LLC is represented by the Boston Volvo parcel here, and the plan is the discontinuance of this portion. As we scroll down to the Hitchborn Street plan, this shows the area. I'll zoom out a little bit there. The discontinuance in plan view. Project has received all the necessary comments necessary for this project. We've also been through the Boston Water and Sewer site plan process as well with respect to the utilities, which we'll talk about in the specific repair plan. Any questions on the discontinuance?
Commissioners, any questions, comments? CIC staff or members of the public?
Kevin, could you just speak to the appraisal? I know that was one of the things that was holding this up 2 weeks ago.
Yes, the appraisal has been obtained. We have shared it with the staff, and I'll bring it up. The full report here, 93 pages, prepared and shared with the attorneys with a full value conclusion of $60,000. The supporting documentation, including maps and regional market analysis, aerial photos that are part of this entire package. If there's any other specifics needed.
Todd, anything else you need to see in this?
Nope, I've taken a look at this. We've also passed it on to both our legal department and our assessing department, and we have not received any comments or concerns. I'll just note that the payment for this discontinuance will be required prior to the issuance of any permits.
Understood.
All right. Hearing no other comments, do I hear a motion to approve public hearing continued number 1?
I'll make a motion to approve a joint petition by Hitchborn Beacon LLC and WJG Realty Company LLC for the discontinuance of Hitchborn Street as read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? So moved. On to public hearing continued number 2 on a petition by Hitchborn Beacon LLC for the making of specific repairs within Arthur Street Public Way, Brighton, located on its easterly side across from Hitchborn Street, consisting of curb realignment, sidewalk reconstruction, as well as new and relocated street lighting infrastructure. New business on May 8th, first public hearing on May 22nd, as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division Specific Repair Plan, Arthur Street and Hitchborn Street, Brighton, one sheet dated May 29th, 2024. The proponents please reintroduce themselves and give us a brief reintroduction and any updates since your last hearing.
My name is Kevin Wright, VHB. I'm here with Peter Mullane, who's here representing the project's legal counsel. Here on behalf of the Hitchborn Street project, it's petitioned by Hitchborn Beacon LLC and WJG Realty Company LLC. Before you is the specific repair plan. We've sent out the necessary utility notifications and received all of our responses, and have done the necessary coordination to get us to this point. Since the last time we presented at new business, the one modification to this plan is we've shown the area, and I'll zoom in for you, the area that is behind the sidewalk that we previously had shown as bituminous is now shown and called out to be concrete. So this whole sidewalk and this area will all be concrete, raised at the same level. And as noted before, we have approval through BWSC relocating of the hydrant. These 2 catch basins will be privately maintained by the owner and raised to the grade as they pave and make this all the same level of the parking lot. And we will extend street lighting conduit and fiber optic conduit across this portion of the new sidewalk so that they terminate at handholds, so future connections don't have to rip up a brand new sidewalk in order to do any work that they deem necessary. So we have an extensive 6-foot wide sidewalk here. Again, this will all be concrete, so there's more than enough room to pass behind the hydrant. Currently in the 6-foot zone, there's a 3.6 foot distance. This will all, again, be all at one level, so the ADA ramps and crosswalks will go away. And that is it for the specific repairs at this point in time. Any questions?
Thanks, Kevin. Commissioners, questions?
Just to clarify, will there be actual dimension behind that 3-foot thick dimension behind the hydrant?
This dimension here is all at the same level. It's about 8 feet. It varies because this is the discontinued area that comes at an angle. So as you go from about 8 feet to 0, it'll be more than enough. 8 plus 3 is 11. So you'll have enough space behind here. Again, this is landscaped area here. I can flip back to the aerial, but you can kind of see the sidewalk will come along here, and then as we get to this point, it'll widen out and it'll all be concrete.
Commissioners, other questions? PIC staff or members of the public?
All set on this one.
All right, do I hear a motion to approve public hearing continued number 2?
Make a motion to approve a petition by Hitchborn Beacon LLC for the making of specific repairs within Arthur Street as read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? So moved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, on to the public hearing section of the agenda, starting with public hearing number 1 on a joint petition by the City of Boston Public Works Department, the City of Boston Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture, and the City of Boston Office of Green Infrastructure, the United Neighbors of Lower Roxbury, and the Frederick Douglass Sculpture Committee for the making of specific repairs within the following public ways in Roxbury, consisting of curb realignment, roadway and sidewalk reconstruction, as well as new and relocated pedestrian ramps, specialty pavement, street lighting infrastructure, storm drain infrastructure, green stormwater infrastructure, street trees, landscaping, street furniture, driveway curb cuts, raised crosswalks, median islands, and public artwork. Tremont Street, generally between Cabot Street and Hammond Street, Cabot Street southeast of Tremont Street, Hammond Street southeast of Tremont Street, Benton Street northwest of Tremont Street. This was new business on May 22nd, as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division Specific Repairs Plans. Tremont Street at Cabot Street and Hammond Street, Roxbury 18 sheets dated June 5th, 2025. Would the proponents please introduce themselves, their affiliations, give us a brief reintroduction, and let us know about changes since your new business here.
Hey, morning, Chairman, members of the Commission. My name is Jeffrey Alexis with the Public Works Engineering Division, ID team, co-petitioning for the Frederick Douglass Plaza improvemements. This was a community-led project initiated with the CPA, as well as the Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture, and United Neighbors of Lower Roxbury, as well as the Frederick Douglass Sculpture Committee. Ultimately, this is a project to revitalize this plaza, but also to bring a memorial to Frederick Douglass in this neighborhood. We've ultimately developed designed a project that was ultimately developed and designed by the community with Sasaki. We brought on our consultant to basically incorporate improvements to our infrastructure, sidewalks, pedestrian ramps, street lighting, and with that, and also with Arts and Culture, they are proposing to install a sculpture with our contractor. With that, I'll turn it over to Tim from GPI, who will present.
Great, thank you, Jeff. Just trying to get Zoom back up. Hopefully folks can see my screen. Okay, Thank you, Jeff. Good morning, Chair, committee members. For the record, my name is Tim Letton. I work with GPI. We are a hired consultant working for PWD on this project. I have with me today Daniel Barboza, who is one of my colleagues who may be able to answer some questions that I can't. We were here on May 22nd for new business. Since that time, we've received some comments from the Parks Department, as well as heard from a couple of other city departments, namely Disabilities and Landmarks, that they did not have any comments, and we've heard from a couple of utilities as well that they didn't have comments either. Focusing in on the Parks Department's comments, the majority of them revolved around spacing of proposed trees, species of proposed trees and plants, as well as care during excavation in and around two existing street trees. These two along Tremont Street here, if you can see that hand. We have responded to those comments. The response to the comments, as well as any updates to the plans, were included in the package that was sent off for the engineering report for this hearing. Basically, we removed a couple of trees. We ensured proper spacing, both from existing utility poles, street lights, as well as between street trees. And we made sure that what was being proposed on the tree side of things was within the species approved by Parks Department. There was also a single tree that exists within the plaza today. It's an oak tree, this tree right here, that Parks asked us to remove due to its health. So we have called for the removal of that tree, as well as we are now proposing an elm tree in its place in the middle of that bioretention area. I think that's the genesis of what was changed from the park side of things. The other thing that we talked about the last time we were here for new business is the ramp opposite R6. Proposed ramp R6, which is here. This ramp does extend. Davenport Street is just off page here, and there's a corner ramp here. We have looked into that ramp, which was recently reconstructed in the last 2 years by the city. That ramp did receive a waiver as part of its reconstruction, so we will add a note to this plan. It's not on here yet, but it will be added as part of the final MyLot process to address that. That's the high level of what has happened with these plans since our last meeting 3 weeks ago. Jeff, I don't know if you have anything you would like to add before we open up to questions?
Yeah, nothing else to add, other than we have worked with the community in regards to executing LMIs, maintenance agreements for the work that's being proposed here, the non-standard elements, as well as the green infrastructure and the alt sculpture, which will be maintained by the Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture.
All right, thank you very much. Commissioners, questions, comments? All right, hearing none, PIC staff or members of the public?
No, I'll just mention that this team worked really hard to get the maintenance agreement in order prior to these hearings. It's a multi-party agreement, took a lot of coordination, so really appreciate that and kudos to them. Excellent. With that, do I hear a motion to approve public hearing number 1?
I'll make a motion to approve a joint petition by the City of Boston Public Works Department, the City of Boston Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture, and the City of Boston Office of Green Infrastructure, the United Neighbors of Lower Roxbury, and the Frederick Douglass Sculpture Committee for the making of specific repairs within Tremont Street, Cabot Street, Hammond Street, and Benton Street, as written to the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstained? So moved. Thank you all very much, and thank you, Jeff, for helping advance this important project. Excited to see it approved.
Thank you all very much.
On to public hearing number 2, on a petition by MTK Development LLC for the making of specific repairs within the following public ways in Dorchester, consisting of curb and sidewalk reconstruction with structural soil, as well as new and relocated pedestrian ramps, specialty pavements, street lighting infrastructure, street trees, and bike racks. Blue Hill Avenue at address numbers 376 to 384, generally between Intervale Street and Brunswick Street, Intervale Street at Blue Hill Avenue. This was new business on May 22nd, as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division Specific Repair Plan 376 to 384A, Blue Hill Avenue and Intervale Street, Boston, Dorchester Public Way, 4 sheets dated May 2025. The proponents please introduce themselves, their affiliations, give us a very brief reintroduction to the project, and update us on any changes since your new business hearing.
Hi, my name is Jared Burrell on behalf of MTK Development. I'm here with John Schmidt of Niche Engineering. We're here to, first of all, thank the Commission for hearing our project. We're here in partnership with the Mayor's Office of Housing to develop 18 condo units at 376 to 384 Blue Hill Avenue, as you mentioned. These units are going to be 80 to 100% AMI. We also have about 2,000 square feet of ground floor mixed between retail and community space, along with several hundred square feet of outdoor space in the back of the property with 10 parking spaces. This building will be 4 stories tall. It has been in conjunction with the community as we prepared and proposed what we were going to plan for the project. We're doing 3-bedroom units, 6 3-bedroom units in this building to appeal to families, and the larger units are what the community asked for. So I'll turn it over to John Schmidt to discuss the specific repairs that we're going to do along the sidewalk, including sidewalk repairs, some trees, some curbs, etc., and I'll let him get into the details. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Schmidt with Niche Engineering. As indicated, we're proposing to reconstruct the sidewalk in front of our property. We will provide a 7-foot wide concrete sidewalk, a 3-foot wide resin band paving strip to allow infiltration for tree protection and nurture. We are proposing 1 new street tree over here, which is over structural soils. And then we are protecting and maintaining the 2 existing street trees. We also have 2 bike racks that are proposed. And at the new business hearing, there's questions about the specific design, the detailed designs of the accessible ramps. We have since worked with Dolores and resolved any questions she had, so I believe every issue has been addressed. Any questions?
Thank you very much. Commissioners, questions, comments? Great, hearing none. PIC staff or members of the public?
I'll just mention that this project is, I believe, working with the Law Department on the necessary maintenance agreement. Jared or John, I don't know if you'd like to speak to that.
Yeah, we're working on the maintenance agreement. We're having some discussions with Mayor's Office of Housing right now, just to confirm some of the terms of the agreement. So, just a couple items that we want to iron out and gain some clarity. Thank you.
All right, so I think this approval then would be contingent on completion of that agreement. It's expected by the proponents.
We expect to have the meeting with the Mayor's Office in the next day or 2, and then we expect to finalize that agreement early next week, Monday or Tuesday.
Excellent. All right. Hearing no other comments, do I hear a motion to approve public hearing number 2 with the previously mentioned contingency?
I'll make a motion to approve a petition by MTK Development LLC for the making of specific repairs within Blue Hill Ave and Intervale Street as read into the record by the chair, contingent upon the approval of the legal agreement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? So moved. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, on to public hearing number 3 on a petition by 151 to 155 Rivermore Street LLC for the acceptance of a pedestrian easement adjacent to Rivermore Street, Public Way, West Roxbury, located on its northwesterly side at address numbers 151 to 155, generally southwest of Gardner Street, Charles Park Road. This was new business on May 22nd, as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division Pedestrian Easement Plan, 151 Rivermore Street, West Roxbury, 1 sheet dated September 2024. Would the proponents please introduce themselves, their affiliations, give us a very brief reintroduction to the project, and update us on any changes since your new business hearing.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Brian Balicki with Furrow Engineering on behalf of the property owner, 151, 155 Rivermore Street. As we went through at the new business meeting, the proponents are redeveloping an existing site in the industrial area on Rivermore Street.
During our Article 80 review process, it was requested of us that we provide improvements to the accessibility of the sidewalk in front of the property. The only way to achieve that was to push the sidewalk into the private property to allow the clearance around existing infrastructure, which necessitates the pedestrian easement that's in front of you today. No changes to the project since our new business meeting.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, questions, comments? EIC staff or members of the public?
All set on this.
All right, do I hear a motion to approve public hearing number 3?
Make a motion to approve a petition by 151 to 155 Rivermore Street LLC for the acceptance of a pedestrian easement in Rivermore Street as read and directed by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? All right, so moved. On to public hearing number 4 on a petition by 151 to 155 Rivermore Street LLC for the making of specific repairs within Rivermore Street Public Way, West Roxbury, located on its northwesterly side at address numbers 151 to 155, generally southwest of Gardner Street, Charles Park Road, consisting of curb, sidewalk, and driveway curb cut reconstruction. This was new business on May 22nd, as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Specific Repair Plan 151 Rivermore Street, West Roxbury, one sheet dated September 2024. The proponents please reintroduce themselves and their affiliations and give us an update on anything that has changed since your new business here.
Good morning again. Brian Balicki, Federal Engineering, on behalf of 151, 155 Rivermore Street LLC. As previously described, we were in front of you at the last meeting for this project, which includes reconstruction of the sidewalk along the applicant's frontage to provide a sidewalk that's compliant with city standards, concrete sidewalk, granite curb, and to modify the driveway entrance to the site to provide better accessibility and pedestrian safety by raising that sidewalk up to the raising the driveway up to the sidewalk grade, and providing the appropriate apron. No changes since our previous presentation at the new business. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Commissioners, questions? EIC staff or members of the public?
All set.
Do I hear a motion to approve public hearing number 4?
Make a motion to approve a petition by 151 to 155 Rivermore Street LLC for the making of specific repairs within Rivermore Street as read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? So moved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, on to public hearing number 5 on a petition by Verizon New England Incorporated for a grant of location with lead company status and no participants to install new telecommunication infrastructure with city shadow conduit within East 6th Street Public Way, South Boston, located between address numbers 437 and 479, generally west of H Street. This was new business on May 22nd. As shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division Granting Location Plan, Verizon 445 to 479 East 6th Street, proposed conduit installation, one sheet dated May 2025. Would the proponents please introduce themselves, their affiliations, and give us a very brief reintroduction and any updates since your new business hearing.
Yes, good morning. Once again, Ross Bellidu representing Verizon New England. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you can review the plan. Okay, Verizon is proposing to place 376 feet of new conduit, again from an existing manhole 169A with Quad Duct City's shadow to an existing, to a future handhole, placed by Crown Castle for the purpose of extending fiber services on East 6th Street. There have been no changes since the last time I presented. And the only concern, I believe, at the initial hearing was the handful of handicap spaces, which we do acknowledge and will take care of when the time comes.
All right, commissioners, questions? EIC staff or members of the public?
All set.
Do I hear a motion to approve public hearing number 5?
I'll make a motion to approve a petition by Verizon New England Inc. for a grant of location within East 6th Street as read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? So moved. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you, take care.
On to public hearing number 6, on a petition by TC Systems Incorporated for grant of location with lead company status and no participants to install new telecommunication infrastructure with city shadow conduit within Harrison Avenue Public Way, Boston proper, located generally between East Newton Street and Thayer Street. New business on May 22nd, as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division Grant of Location Plan. Proposed lateral conduit placement, Harrison Avenue, Boston proper, 16 sheets dated June 10th, 2025. Would the proponents please introduce themselves, their affiliations, give us a brief reintroduction, and let us know about any changes since your new business hearing.
Good morning. My name is Erica Hudson with Sienna Engineering Group. On behalf of TC Systems, an affiliate of AT&T, Sienna Engineering Group is submitting for your approval one set of design plans showing 5 digs on Harrison Ave. There have been no changes since the last hearing.
All right, commissioners, questions?
My motion restaurant.
Erica, this is Denise Devlin from Water and Sewer. I just want.
He asked me if I could go.
No.
I probably told you this. One to go back to Lynn and take a look, see if that
Air.
144 cable.
Sorry, you kind of.
Eric, so there's a bit of background noise, I think, coming through on your end. If you wouldn't mind muting when you're not speaking, because I think it's interrupting the other speaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that you got the email I sent to you, Erica, about the time frame that we'll be out on Harrison Ave doing the work.
Yes, we did. We've reviewed it and it's still under review. So we're gonna make sure that we stay in contact with the construction team and you as well during that duration and also prior to us starting the work.
Okay, thanks, Erica. Yeah, and we just had asked, if you could wait until we completed our, just where we're like crossing you and then where like we're on the same side. We're proposing work on the same side.
Beat the truck and went early.
Thank you, Erica. Appreciate it.
Came in here.
All right, excellent. Any other PSC commissioner questions? PSC staff or members of the public?
Erica, would you just let us know what the intention is in the sections between these separate digs? I understand from Verizon, is that correct?
It was a big truck.
So yes, so can you see my screen here?
He was great. He
Yes.
it up.
Okay.
It was fun.
So just an overview, so for the first dig, we're gonna start at Verizon manhole 338, at the intersection of Harrison Ave and East Newton Street. And it's going to continue to Verizon manhole 337 at the intersection of Harrison Ave and East Brookline Street. And that will be 397 feet. For the second dig, we're going to start at Verizon manhole 334 at the intersection of Harrison Ave and Malden Street. And it's going to continue to the intersection of Harrison Ave and Waltham Street at Verizon manhole 332. And that's going to be 345 feet. For the third dig, that'll start at Verizon manhole 332 and will continue to Verizon manhole 331.
So it's, but it is it, so I think he's doing.
For the fourth dig, that'll start at Verizon manhole 330 and will go to Verizon manhole 329. And then lastly, for the fifth dig, we have a small section here. It'll start at Verizon manhole 329 and go to Verizon manhole 1120. And that's what I have for that dig, for those digs.
All right, thank you very much. Got any other questions?
I think I'm all set.
All right, with that, do I hear a motion to approve public hearing number 6?
Make a motion to approve a petition by TC Systems, Inc. for a grant of location in Harrison Ave as read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? So moved. On to public hearing number 7 on a petition by TC Systems Incorporated for grant of location with lead company status and no participants to install new telecommunication infrastructure with city shadow within the following public ways in Roxbury, Tremont Street between Huntington Avenue and Wigglesworth Street, Huntington Avenue at Tremont Street. This was new business on May 22nd, as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division. Grant of location plan proposed lateral conduit placement, Huntington Avenue at Tremont Street, Roxbury, 6 sheets dated June 10th, 2025. Would the proponents please reintroduce themselves, their affiliations, and give us a brief reintroduction and any updates since your new business hearing?
Good morning. My name is Erica Hudson with Sienna Engineering Group. On behalf of TC Systems, an affiliate of AT&T, Sienna Engineering Group is submitting for your approval 1 set of design plans for the proposed conduit installation on Tremont Street. There have been no changes, so I can do a brief review. So we're going to start at Verizon manhole number 15/638, which is at the intersection of Huntington Ave and Tremont Street. And it's going to continue to a proposed 3x3x3 manhole, and that's going to be 110 feet. The conduit will proceed from that proposed manhole onto Tremont Street to Verizon manhole 15/806, and that will be approximately 281 feet. And that is all.
So I believe Tremont Street was repaved 2 years ago. Is that, so I guess my question, have you sorted through all of the kind of guaranteed streets fees and its related expectations?
Sorry, I'm not, can you?
Typically when we repave a street, we prefer that people not dig it up, within a few years of that repaving. We notice all of our paving through Cobucks and other process to avoid having to trench a freshly repaved street. So the city does have a heightened permitting fee to cover the costs of restoration of digs on newly paved streets. So I want to make sure that you are aware of that and are prepared to work through our permitting office to pay any of those additional costs and fees necessary to properly restore this street.
Yes, I can check in internally to see if that process has been started, but either way, we will take that necessary steps.
Commissioners, other questions, comments? DIC staff or members of the public?
All set.
All right. With that, do I hear a motion to approve public hearing number 7?
I'll make a motion to approve a petition by TC Systems, Inc. for a grant of location within Tremont Street and Huntington Ave, as read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? So moved. Thank you very much. All right, that concludes the public hearing section of our agenda. Moving on to new business, starting with new business 1, 1387 to 1403 Washington Street, Boston proper, granted location on a petition by NStar Electric Company, DBA Eversource Energy. Would the proponents please introduce themselves, their affiliations, and talk us through what you are proposing to do?
Good morning, this is Emmy McSweeney from Eversource again. Eversource Electric is requesting to install conduit in one manhole located at the intersection of Union Park and Washington Street to the new manhole located at 1395 Washington Street. This work is necessary to provide electric service to 1395 Washington Street. And the customer transformer is going to go into that the new manhole, which is located on the sidewalk. Are there any questions?
So this is another street that is, I believe, on the planned to be repaved this construction season. Have you coordinated with Public Works Construction Management about the timing of this work and any impacts that that would have on the paving program?
Hi, Yasha, this is Kelly Curria at Eversource. I'm sitting here with Emmy. I believe there's been some discussion back and forth. I'm not familiar with the details. I can certainly reach out to Sean. We've talked about other paving projects, so I will make sure we do coordinate with the city.
Okay. Yeah, please do that. We are, I believe, planning on this paving to happen this summer, so it is a short timeline. I would also note that this stretch of Washington Street has a dedicated bus lane on it, and it appears that your trench would need to traverse some parts of that, which comes with a more complex restoration obligation because of the surface markings there. So please coordinate with our construction management division. I would very much like to see this happen in advance of paving, but that may require you to operate on an expedited schedule in order to get that done.
Okay, and I'll keep in touch with PIC, at least let you know where we're at too in discussions.
Okay, excellent. Please do. Yeah, when you come back for your public hearing, it would be great to get an update on that coordination. Commissioners, other comments, questions? CIC staff or members of the public?
All set.
All right, will you be ready for your public hearing in 2 weeks on June 26th?
Yes, we will.
All right, excellent. Thank you very much. We will see you then in 2 weeks.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
All right, on to new business 2, 4254 Geneva Avenue, Normandy Street, Oldfields Road, Dorchester, widening and relocation, specific repairs, and a set of petitions by the City of Boston Public Facilities Department. The proponents please introduce themselves, their affiliations, and walk us through what you are proposing to do.
Good morning, commissioners. My name is Brett Benson. I'm a principal at UTL. We're the architects that are working for the City of Boston, the Public Facilities Department, and the Boston Center for Youth and Families on this project. The project is a new community center, the first ground-up community center built in Boston in decades, and is a product of 19 community meetings and counting. We've had a lot of very robust public input on this new community center. The project will include a 5-lane swimming pool, a new high school regulation indoor gymnasium with 2 cross courts, a senior center, a teen center, a number of classrooms to help support those activities, as well as a tech lab and a makerspace. So very vibrant community use here on the site. In just a moment, our civil engineer and landscape architect will describe the project in more detail to you. I want to point out 2 things. One is that we're bounded on 3 sides by public streets, and so we're proposing improvements all along the perimeter of the community center. And you'll also see that we're proposing a new crosswalk across Geneva Avenue at the Normandy Street intersection. And that was something that was a frequent topic of conversation in all of our community meetings. So I'll hand it over to Jeffrey Pilot from Samiotis Consultants, our civil engineer.
Good morning to the Commission and the public. My name is Jeffrey Pilot from Samiotis Consultants. We're the civil engineers and project surveyors. We'll start off with the widening and relocation petition plan. This illustrates the areas that's required for the widening and relocation due to the specific repair scope. You can see in the blue and dashed the revised reconfiguration of the existing curb, the proposed curb for the crosswalk, closing of several curb cuts around the property. Moving on to the specific repair plan. Here we illustrate the location of the proposed crosswalk, location of the proposed bus drop-off, metered parking spaces. We did receive some comments from Green Infrastructure and Boston Water Sewer to include a proposed stormwater tree system and relocate some existing proposed structures. Moving on to Normandy Street, we have another crosswalk, standard crosswalk, and several trees. Moving on to the Normandy and Oldfields side, again, continuation of proposed trees and a crosswalk and a new curb cut to the small parking lot located on site, and relocation of light poles. Overall, we have 250 linear feet of new concrete sidewalk, closing of one existing curb cut along Oldfield Road, approximately 181 linear feet, and closing of 2 curb cuts along Normandy Street, and then another 225 linear feet of concrete sidewalk on Geneva. This project includes closing of 4 existing curb cuts, relocation of light poles, raised crosswalk with solar flashing beacons, 3 new metered parking spaces, and bus drop-off zone on Geneva. All of this will be in accordance with Americans with Disabilities Act, PROAG, MAAB, and City of Boston standards. Pass it on to landscape architect Shauna.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Shauna Gillis-Smith, Ground Landscape Architecture. I'm very happy to be working on this project. As you can sort of get a sense of it from looking at the overall project, we're proposing significant street tree improvements. We have overall 25 new street trees on the project being set in permeable paving at the edge. We have on at least more than a 5-foot wide clear pedestrian zone on all streets, more than 6.5 on Geneva, I think. And then, as Jeffrey mentioned, we are including a stormwater bed per green infrastructure details and conversation that is collecting runoff from the street into the tree planter in the bump out in this location. We also are accommodating visitor bicycle parking in the public right-of-way along Normandy and Geneva. You can just see the dash lines. And as can be seen, the pedestrian walkway, the sidewalk is partially within the public right-of-way and partially within the property.
If there's anything else, we are available for any questions, and we can go back to any plans.
Commissioners, questions?
Hi, thank you so much for the presentation. I'm wondering if we could quickly go to the specific repairs on Oldfield Road showing the driveway curb cut and access to those 4 or 5 parking spaces. We were wondering if it's at all possible to narrow this driveway curb cut down to 12 or 10 feet, just to ensure that the conflict zone between vehicles and pedestrians can be as narrow as possible.
Sure, and so we did an evaluation with the vehicle tracking software and found that the 20 feet works better for the site. The vehicles that will be on this site are a larger type van to accommodate the proponents of the building.
Do you have any turning analysis to show some of those movements, just because of the low volume of cars that will be using this parking lot? We want to ensure that the impact to the sidewalk is proportional.
Sure, we can provide those to you.
Great, thank you.
Commissioners, any other questions, comments? DFC staff or members of the public?
All set.
All right. Well, will you be ready for your public hearing in 2 weeks on June 26th?
Yes.
Excellent. Well, we'll see you back here then. It's a very exciting public project, and looking forward to seeing it move forward. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, on to new business 3, 2164 to 2168 Washington Street, Roxbury, specific repairs, and a petition by the Community Music Center of Boston. Would the proponents please introduce themselves, their affiliations, and talk us through what you are proposing to do?
Hello, Commissioners. This is Laura Swan, a civil engineer with SMMA.
And I'm Andy Elliott. I'm a landscape architect with SMMA.
And we are representing the Community Music Center of Boston in the redevelopment of 2164 Washington Street. And if you'll permit me to share my screen.
Also, I'm John Hart, a civil engineer with SMMA, also on the meeting.
Are you sharing?
Can you see the screen?
No, we cannot.
Okay, one moment.
Where's your?
Okay. Okay, now can you see it?
I think it's coming through. There we go. Now we can see.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So the Community Music Center of Boston is an existing building in Roxbury. It is, as you can see, right on Washington Street. So from the street, you can see this is an existing building. The buildings on either side are long gone and are right now vacant lots that are planned to be developed by the city. So this historic building, you can see from either side, will need new water and sewer and other utilities to update it. So I will go on to our specific improvement plan. And you can see we're going to put in new water lines, new fire protection lines, new sanitary sewer and stormwater, including green infrastructure, which is going to be an infiltration well. And that will be underneath the public sidewalk. The public will see just a small 12-inch diameter metal lid over this infiltration system, which will infiltrate the required 1 inch of rainfall from the roof. Also, as part of bringing this building up to code, we are going to reset the granite curb and sidewalk. It's about 50 linear feet, and it will bring it up to ADA standards, the 2% grade, as well as improving the materials. So we've spoken with the Nubian Ascends Development Project, which will be developing either side and are going to match their same sidewalk materials, which is going to be a concrete sidewalk for about 6.5 feet, and then a 3-foot furnishing zone with pervious pavers over structural soil. I don't know, maybe if you want to speak about the impacts to the tree.
Sure, there's an existing tree on site that will unfortunately have to get removed to make the necessary utility improvements and improvements to the cross slope on the sidewalk. We've had our tree hearing last week and we have preliminary approval to remove it. There were no public comments. It's actually a invasive tree anyway. So we are planning to replace the tree with a more proper shade street tree. And because the sidewalk is relatively narrow at 6 feet, we're proposing to have the tree pit paved with a resin-bound permeable surface to just help, help people navigate around that tree a little bit better. And as Laura mentioned, the pavers that are in the furnishing zone are permeable pavers, and we've created a treeway of sand-based structural soil underneath those pavers and in a zone underneath and around the tree, expanding the potential area. Do you have any other comments, Laura?
I don't believe I do. If there's any questions for us, I can always try and go to our pictures of the tree.
Commissioners, questions?
We do have
Go ahead.
Boston Water and Sewer Commission approval at this point.
Thank you, John.
Great. Commissioners, questions, comments? Great, hearing none, PIC staff or members of the public?
I think we're all set on this.
All right, easy enough. Will you be ready for your public hearing in 2 weeks on June 26th?
Yes, we will.
All right, great. Well, thank you very much. We'll see you back here then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On to new business 4, 114 to 122 Harvard Street, Standish Street, Dorchester, pedestrian easement, specific repairs on a set of petitions by Harvard Standish LLC. Would the proponents please introduce themselves, their affiliations, and walk us through what you are proposing to do?
So the project engineer for this project just sent me an email saying that his computer just crashed, and I'm not seeing anybody else.
Hey Todd, sorry.
Hey Joe.
Thanks for last minute here. Just started up in time, appreciate you. Okay, just sharing. Okay, my name is Joseph Oliver, civil engineer with Sherwood Consulting. We are civil engineers for 114 to 122 Harvard. This is an affordable housing project, along with the last item on the agenda, 18 Standish. These two buildings are being developed together, 22 affordable housing units between the two of them. This one is for specific repairs. We are reconstructing the sidewalks, adding 7 new street trees, a pedestrian easement on both Harvard and Standish to accommodate a 5-foot clear sidewalk behind the street trees. We are reconstructing 2 pedestrian ramps at the intersection of Harvard and Standish, shifting an existing curb cut, which is on Standish. We're just shifting it about 5 feet north to accommodate the new parking lot. And we are adding street lighting infrastructure. So that'll be light pole bases and conduit and the handholds to accommodate the street light poles that the city will install. And that's it, if there are any questions.
Commissioners, questions?
Hi, Joseph. I think I sent you an email this morning, just continuing the conversation on some of the outstanding comments that we had about the building entrance. And then I saw that you had replied during the hearing. So I'm happy to review those responses to new business in the public hearing. Additionally, in regards to the reciprocal ramp, across Harvard Street, it looks like there is a bit of an skew between the proposed location of the ramp on your side as well as the reciprocal ramp on the opposite side of Harvard Street. So we're wondering if there's any way to shift the ramp on the project side to align in a better manner with the reciprocal ramp on the opposite side of Harvard Street.
Sure, we can look at that. I mean, there's a street tree, directly opposite that existing pedestrian ramp on Harvard. There's a street tree that we're proposing, but we can look at adjusting that and try to get a more perpendicular walkway, sure.
Thank you.
Commissioners, other questions or comments? All right, hearing none, can I see staff or members of the public?
All set?
All right, will you be ready for your public hearing in 2 weeks on June 26th?
Yes, yes, we will.
All right, we will see you then. And on to new business 5, 18 to 24 Standish Street, Dorchester pedestrian easement specific repairs and a set of petitions by Harvard Standish LLC. Proponents, please reintroduce themselves, their affiliations, and walk us through this aspect of the project.
Sure, Joseph Oliveira, civil engineer, Sherwood Consulting and Design. So this is the sister project of the one we just spoke about. Again, affordable housing, 22 units between the two of them. This is, I believe, 2 or 3 parcels south of the Harvard Street parcel that we just looked at, but they'll be developed together. This one involves reconstruction of the sidewalks, 2 new street trees, and pedestrian easement to accommodate a 5-foot clear sidewalk behind the street trees. It's got a light pole base with power conduit and handholds to accommodate a light pole that the city will install.
All right, commissioners, questions?
At the risk of sounding like a broken record, I'm happy to look at your response to our questions from this morning. Thank you.
Sure, yeah, I'll just say that for both of the buildings, we checked with the architect. They all have the necessary accessible entrances. So, but yeah, you can check that in the email.
All right, commissioners, any other questions? Do I see staff or members of the public?
We're all set on this one too.
All right, you'll be ready for your public hearing in 2 weeks on June 26th?
Yes.
Great, we will see you then. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And with that, we have reached the end of our agenda. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned. Thank you so much. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.